goes against the European Convention on Human Rights, although there are provisions for exceptions to that in declared states of emergency. But it is certainly an area in which significant progress has been made. On the economy, I think it's good that the G20 process, which was initiated under President Bush, has been continued under President Obama. It is perhaps a little disheartening that some of the commitments that have been made on protectionism haven't been fully lived up to by anybody. But notably in the United States, we have seen protectionist measures introduced under other flags, under the flag of airline safety, or under the flag of water improvement or stimulus to the economy. One has seen protectionist measures included in legislation, particularly in the House of Representatives. And that's in a way not surprising given the campaign rhetoric of many of the newly elected members of the House on the Democratic side. They saw it on one election on a protectionist platform. I'm glad to say that our public diplomatic activity in Washington has been successful in rolling back some of these protectionist initiatives, but not all. I think we must continue to maintain a vigorous stance on protectionism wherever it arises in the United States. And I think we should not underestimate our ability to influence the process. I'm pleased that, in part due to interventions that I made myself, that the Buy America legislation has been modified within 24 to 48 hours of our making a statement. President Obama indicated that he was proposing to change his tack. And then more recently, on another issue, we've had an initiative jointly with 3 other ambassadors, which is about the first time I think the EU has signed with 3 other ambassadors of 3 other non-European countries on another protectionist measure. I think we must maintain a high diplomatic profile. I think I won't give you, a full tour of all the agenda items that are on the table, but I would also welcome the fact that President Obama is taking a new position in regard to being open to dialogue with Iran. So far, not a lot of substance has been put on the agenda for such discussions. The discussions haven't taken place, and there hasn't been any substantive response from the Iranians either. But the willingness to be open to discussion, I think, is a good sign in what could be a very troubling scenario. I think equally important is the fact that the administration is taking a more balanced view of the situation as between the Palestinians and the Israelis, and is attempting to give some real substance to the two-state solution, recognizing the geographical reality that for there to be a second state, there must be a contiguous territory that that state could occupy that it has reasonable control over. And that's not the case currently, and there's no prospect of it being the case in any declarations of the occupying power. And this is an occupation that has lasted since 1967, the occupation of the West Bank, and I think you could say effectively Gaza is still occupied in the sense that all the entry points to it are controlled by the Israelis, thereby constituting an occupation. This is a very, very long-standing occupation, and the two-state solution has been on the agenda for quite some time, supported by the previous administration, but substance has not yet been given to it. Exactly how far President Obama is going to get, exactly what level of leverage he will use to move towards substantive negotiations on all of these issues and towards an outcome of those negotiations, I don't know for sure. But I think most people who observe this matter from outside would take the view that there isn't an unlimited amount of time available to make a reality of the two-state solution. If this drags on for 3, 4, 5 years, probably won't be a two-state solution. so the time is not unlimited. President Obama doesn't have 8 years to deal with this issue. He has probably 2 to 3 years at most to bring some reality to this. And I think it's interesting that the members of Congress, Democratic members of Congress of the Jewish faith, who met Prime Minister Netanyahu, were very strong in telling him that settlement policy should change, that settlements should stop. And that coming from people who have been very strongly supportive of Israel is a sign of changed opinion in the United States, including, and indeed I would say particularly, among the Jewish community in the United States, who perhaps perceive more clearly than maybe the Israeli government perceives Israel's long-term interest. Israel's long-term interest being in a settlement with their immediate neighbours, and not with perpetual confrontation in a situation where demography isn't on their side.